As we're living through these very unique times with the COVID pandemic, I know that residents in my district are facing insurmountable uncertainties. If anything, this pandemic has shed light on how communities of color continue to be disproportionately impacted in time of crisis, including the climate crisis. I'm here on week 4 of being sworn in as a county supervisor to demonstrate my utmost commitment to addressing environmental justice and the health impacts of our community. I want to recognize that many of the environmental justice groups that have been working on this issue in District 1 for years, and assure them that I know that only together can we do this, and I'm going to be your champion. For too long, our communities have been left behind, and moving forward, this has to stop. Ya basta. As you all know, the United States just rejoined the Paris Agreement and demonstrated that it's a new day in our country, and we're already talking about climate change seriously. Just this week, the Biden administration announced necessary both climate and environmental executive orders. 2 weeks ago, our County Board of Supervisors unanimously adopted a landmark climate action plan framework, and under my leadership this week, we included federal efforts to address transboundary pollution of the Tijuana River Valley, and will be supporting the Border Water Restoration and Protection Act to bring more federal dollars to the region. Yesterday, I co-docketed the 2 board letters with colleague Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer for Regional Sustainability Plan, and this direction to develop a regional sustainability plan to guide our county for future regional collaboration between cities, agencies, universities, and really to create justice policies and programs that aim to make the needed greenhouse gas emissions. Also yesterday, the County Board of Supervisors unanimously supported the establishment of a climate advisory committee, and this was a necessary commitment to address climate action and climate justice and policies in our county. And I became the newest member of the Air Pollution Control District. I will not be accepting business as usual. The status quo will no longer be the norm. Our frontline communities cannot afford to wait any longer. I'm here this morning to announce my environmental justice policy package to build healthier and stronger communities. For years, our low-income communities of color have been placed on the sidelines. This is not sustainable, and it will not tolerate it. I promised I was going to hit the ground running on day 1 when I was appointed as District 1 Supervisor. Communities south of Bay Freeway like San Isidro, Logan Heights, National City, City Heights, Mountain View, and Imperial Beach are communities of color that live on the front lines of environmental pollution and the climate crisis due to a long history of environmental racism and injustice. Racist policies like the construction of freeways through low-income communities of color, lack of quality of food, lack of transportation, and lack of green spaces have created barriers for our communities of color and led to prolonged health impacts that have not been addressed. District 1 has unique challenges of air pollution, where communities like Logan Heights have a shorter life expectancy than communities north of the 8 freeway, simply because of the air that we breathe. Youth in Barrio Logan are 3 times more likely than residents of other areas of San Diego County to end up in DR due to asthma. San Isidro is our busiest port of entry in the country, and this brings high traffic that contributes to high GHG emissions for vehicle traffic. Our beach in Imperial Beach consistently faced with closures due to contamination. The impact in our frontline communities is directly tied to environmental racism and our racist redlining history. It's time for us to come together as a unified front and bring forth. I will be introducing the creation of the South County Environmental Justice Taskforce, comprised of federal, state, and local representatives from agencies, environmental justice organizations, including the numerous financial entities and residents that have been advocating for additional funding and resources, because together we need to address the Tijuana River Valley sewage issue. I've been and will continue to meet with my national elected officials and stakeholders to address the pollution and sewage problem in the Tijuana River Valley. I'm here today with this in mind. The county should be assessing environmental issues at the Tijuana River Valley as a public health care crisis. They've tried it before, and it hasn't been a priority, but we're going to do it now. Since 1931, contamination at the Tijuana River Valley has negatively impacted the health of border and coastal communities in San Diego County and our binational region. This action is long overdue in an area that is faced with poor air quality, sewage leaks, waste for industrial plants, litter of waste tires that become vectors of disease, carrying mosquitoes, plastic pollution, sediment, and trash. This direct environmental impact, coupled with the long-lasting health impact, undermines our region's public health. My next steps will be declaring the Tijuana River Valley as a public health care crisis. Climate justice is a racial justice issue, and any policies that we move forward need to be centered in the perspective of working Black, Indigenous, and communities of color that meaningfully address the patterns of underinvestment that put our youth at a disadvantage from day one. We are going to be addressing issues of our food deserts in our communities as well, to address the big, what we have seen with the COVID pandemic around food insecurity, and making sure that our communities have access to parks and recreation, another issue that we've been addressing. And so these are the items that we're working together to make sure that we address as a county. Thank you very much for being here.